Alright, so I tried to do this video a few different ways. I noticed that in the first upload I made, there was big errors where it wasn't even picking up audio half of the time, so that sucks. Apologies for that. Nobody in the comments told me that was happening. But anyway, I've thought I've gone back and forth with whether or not I was going to actually record this video and attempt to put it back up. And I've come to realize that I can't not do it. So I'm just going to jump right into it and we'll get this over with.
People will be scratching their heads and say, get out of it, come on, this didn't happen. This is a real presence in your life. You're a spiritual guidance counselor, you're used to this sort of thing. You open up channels to the other side.
I do, yeah.
And this is a channel that, well, you really connected with.
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
Yeah. This person, this...
Hold on. I'm actually glad that I went over this again. In the first 2 times that I did this video, I never noticed that he said you're a spiritual advisor and you open up. Did he say you open up pathways to the other side? Did I hear that right?
This is a channel that, well, you really can. Guidance counselor, you're used to this sort of thing. You open up channels to the other side.
I do, yeah.
And this is a channel that...
Okay, you open up channels to the other side. The first thing is, has this lady never been told not to mess with a Ouija board? This is first of all. Secondly, alright, bro. You're a spiritual advisor, counselor, whatever. And look, we have all this right here we're going to get into. So, well, don't worry. We'll get to that. First, I want to get through the interview. But I never noticed that he said that before. So maybe I'm missing other things as well.
Well, you really connected with.
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
Yeah. This person, this presence, can you tell us anything about him, her, it?
I refer to it as him because that's easier.
Yeah.
It's very ancient, very wise, very kind.
Has been on the planet before?
I would say for a very long time, yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you first encounter this presence?
Hold on, don't talk yet. Just wait a second. Don't rush to any conclusions quickly. Does it seem to any of you like she's making this up as she goes along? Is she crazy? Is it a mental illness? Possibly delusional schizophrenia, maybe?
When I was over in Australia and I was taking a walk out in the bush and just suddenly it approached me.
And is this something you can see or just something you
No,
feel?
something you feel. So, yeah, just like an emotional, sort of physical presence.
Why was this one different? Because you've had these kind of encounters before, as Eamon said, you're a medium. So why was this so personal? Why was it the feeling?
Oh boy. Okay, so are you a medium? Are you a spiritual advisor? What's happening here? Because you're wearing a lot of hats for a person that's a small head.
Feeling different for you?
Because I fell in love with it, I guess. Just, it's for one.
But, you know, none of us expect to hear this story. Did you expect this story to happen in your life, doing what you do as a spiritual guidance counsellor?
No, not at all. No. No.
So tell me, when you and he talk, what do you talk about?
It's really difficult to explain in terms of normal, like, earthbound relationships. It's a bit deeper than that. We don't have a need for conversation. It's more just, like, about emotion and feeling and connection.
But you may be feeling and connecting a bit more than, you know, more than that, because you feel that you're going to connect to such a degree, am I right, that you will have a spiritual or physical baby?
I hope so.
What, spiritual or physical?
Well, I would hope physical. I don't So I've been looking into phantom pregnancies, and I believe that a phantom pregnancy is actually a real pregnancy, but you have a phantom inside you rather than a human baby. And but the reason we don't ever manage to carry those to full term is because the people that have them don't understand this or sort of comprehend that that's possible.
Is she talking about miscarriages? That they're not really miscarriages, they're phantom pregnancies, and that's why you don't carry to term? I don't know. To be honest, that's not the craziest thing I've heard so far in 2 minutes and 43 seconds into this interview. Unfortunately. I mean, go down the list, man. Phantom pregnancy. I mean, we haven't even gotten to the Mile High Club yet. I don't want to. Let me not.
But I'm hoping through understanding what's going on with my body, I'll be able to, yeah.
Would you actually mean
would you
produce
be able? Would you
a
be
baby?
able to actually deliver a physical baby? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I'm not sure what it will turn out like, but
you
part of the
believe
excitement, I
that
guess.
there would be a child?
Yeah, whether it be in spirit form or human form, I don't know. But
The ghost or presence, whatever you like to call it, spirit, you met in the Australian bush and you had to leave Australia.
yeah.
And you were feeling very sad about
I was,
leaving
yeah.
this presence behind. But then whilst you're on the plane, tell us what happened then.
Oh, shit.
Well, yeah, I was really sad because in my experience, spirits tend to be quite static. And so I thought I'd had to leave it behind. And then whilst I was on the plane, I suddenly realised it surprised me and, yeah, come with me.
I'm trying to understand this. Is this similar to being possessed, almost?
No.
No?
No, it's similar. It's similar to a normal earthbound relationship, just...
Well,
Excuse me. What's so similar about it? You don't. You have. You don't talk, right? You don't see, right? No ghost rubbers. As far as I know, you don't have to run to the store and get spiritual contraception. There's no Plan G on the shelf. At least not that I'm aware of, but I don't know. Could this be a delusion through medication? Maybe she's on some kind of an antipsychotic. Example would be Seroquel, Geodon, maybe even Ambien. I know that's not, I don't think that's classified as an antipsychotic, but I know people who have taken Ambien who have had hallucinations. Okay, then we go to what caused this mental state to happen? Could it have been a past relationship that has forced her so far on the edge that she has now manifested a relationship that doesn't exist to then be able to feel better about the fact that she cannot find a connection with a human being that's not a scumbag? Maybe she just has a bad choice in men, which seems to be her preferred preference.
My partner happens to be a spirit.
Except it's not,
It's
because
not.
no one can meet or see or greet or see the love that you are experiencing. So I'm trying to imagine what this is like, and I'm thinking maybe this is like having a really nice dream, yeah, that you can go back into and opt into whenever you want.
That makes sense. Goes to the point that I just made a second ago. That would make sense, but I don't think you would be on television if you admitted that it's just a fantasy and I come and go with it as I please. Is this just a fame grabber?
No, I'd say it's definitely real. I'm definitely awake.
You're definitely awake. So when you say you're definitely awake, so you're awake. What are you feeling? Are you being touched? Are you being held? Are you being kissed? Or is it just conversation?
Sometimes, yeah.
And
it's just like a normal relationship.
So you get excited, you get turned on by this relationship?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you did say that actually on the flight back from Australia, you did actually go into the loo and do what some
became
people do.
Member of a Mile High Club, yeah.
And why did you need to go into the loo to do that if nobody can see that presence there?
Because, I don't know, wouldn't be able to get into it on the seats, I guess.
So even then you felt you needed to be private?
Maybe because she's flicking her bean, and you can't do that in public? Crazy thought.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Some people might say, well, how is this not just a fantasy, perhaps? You know, that you're imagining somebody wonderful and that you have these feelings because you're imagining them, not because it's actually a ghost.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I know that it's real. But I don't know, it's my
Yes.
relationship, it's personal. I don't mind so much if people disbelieve or...
No, and you see, I sort of get this. I mean, you're tuned into a different frequency than a lot of people are, right? So why are they going to, you know, you don't expect them really to believe you, really, do you?
No.
No, you don't care either, do you, really?
Not particularly.
Because it's happening to you.
No.
So you and this person, I mean, are things good with you at the minute? Or do you go on date nights, whatever? Has anything interesting happened recently?
Yeah, they're really good with us. We're hoping to get a hand fasting ceremony soon. So
Oh, lovely.
A hand...
hand fasting.
Oh, is that like a marriage?
Yeah, it's kind of like a spiritual marriage, except... Yeah.
So even though he's been around like 1,000 years or so ago, would he go to the cinema or things with you? Would he do...
Yeah, we went to the zoo the other week.
Really? What'd you go and see?
At the zoo?
Not my
Of the
boyfriend.
zoo?
Zoo
Oh,
animals.
I thought you said the cinema.
And what about, have you fallen out? Because we all fall out with our love. However much we love them, we fall out sometimes.
Dude. Alright, they must be banging, man. Behind the scenes, I don't know what the deal is with this show, but a woman doesn't do that for no reason. That was her way of jabbing the elbow into him real quick. And you know, you might have went to the zoo. What did you see? You didn't see your boyfriend. That's what you didn't see. I know that much. Even the animals are looking at her like, bro, I know we got problems, but
Have you had any fallings out?
Not properly. We've been a little bit tense a couple of times, but so far it's all been pretty smooth.
Okay. Would there be anybody, just final question to you, you know, you're saying, and you make your own judgment of what Amethyst is going through or not. Do you think there'd be people out there, other people going through or actually totally realising what you're talking about?
Yeah, I know there are. Yes, while I was in Australia, I was meeting a group of people who have had similar experiences, and since my last ITV experience, I think there's been a lot in the news about other people.
Okay.
Okay.
What's the worst part about paying for things you don't want?
you know what the worst part is about things I don't want? The fact that I have to watch this commercial right now. That really sucks. Verizon, in my personal experience, has been terrible. Got robbed from those people, but that's not what we're here for. So listen, man. This is very odd. It's very odd. Just because, I mean, this whole thing, I can't help but think, is it a mental illness? And how do you go on national television, talk about something like this, and walk out without a straitjacket on? I know people who have gotten committed for far less. Far less. And yet somehow this lady goes on national TV, says I'm bucking the spirit all of the time, going to get married. My friends and my family support me getting into a marriage. We're gonna have a pagan ritual of some sort for a marriage, which, you know what, fine, cool, that's great. Whatever you want to do. But there's going to come a point where, what happens if this fantasy, this quote unquote fantasy of hers, needs to become a little bit more of a reality? Does she then go and find somebody to get her pregnant and then just hold on to the kid, and in her mind it's the spiritual baby? Now I'm not saying that she's gonna go out and rape anybody. It could be done a number of ways, but then my next immediate thought comes to being, if that were to be the case, when she decides to actually tap out of the whole fantasy in itself, then the kid would have to go along with that. So maybe that's the whole point of having a phantom pregnancy, And then because her family and friends support this, have they seen her get into numerous relationships that have turned out badly? In the sense that, maybe she's gotten into abusive relationships or she's very jealous or whatever the case may be, and it might be a little more healthy for her to pursue this route. Has this always been a thing throughout her life? Was she raised around this type of an environment? I've tried to look her up and I can't find her, so I don't know. Oh shit. Sorry.
It would have been about 12 years ago now. I was living with my fiance.
Yeah.
And he was working away a lot. We just moved into a new house in Hereford. And after a while, he was going away maybe 1 week, 2 weeks at a time. I started to feel kind of like a presence, maybe, I guess you could call it, around the house.
Yeah. Which is
It's called loneliness, man. It's okay to feel lonely, dude. I mean, whatever. Who the fuck am I?
some people would be a little scared of, but you weren't scared by
It never felt scary. It felt comforting, if anything.
And even when even when you were in, this all happened sort of in the spare bedroom. That was where it was, at its most powerful. Even when it came up behind you and you could feel its breath on your neck, that still didn't freak you out.
Not at all, no.
So then you decided that you would take it to the next level, and you dressed in a very sexy negligee, and you went into the spare bedroom and turned the lights off and waited.
I did, yes.
And
What happened?
I waited and waited for a while, and then I got a little bit worried. I thought maybe I'd scared it off by being too keen.
Oh, okay.
And then sort of just as I'd given up hope and was starting to fall asleep, it came to me. And
what happened?
I don't know what I can say on
Well,
TV.
you described it like, wait.
You had sex?
Yeah, I had sex with the ghost.
With a ghost?
Yeah. Yes.
But you can't wrap your arms around a ghost.
No.
So how physically, how does the sex bit happen?
You can still feel it. Like it was it's difficult to explain.
Like a weight?
It's kind of a weight, but at the same time weightless, and like a physical. There's the breath and stroking, and the energy as well. I think the energy was a lot to do with it. Do you feel a connection?
And does a sexual experience with a ghost end in orgasm?
For me, yeah.
Right, gosh, so wow.
And fan for the ghost?
I just hope so.
And
You hope so. Okay. So, you want to get married to a thing that you can't talk to, but we ditched that guy. We have another dude now, I think. If I'm keeping up with the details here, because it shows here that, dumped by her childhood fiance after 10 years, or 10 years ago, after he caught her in bed with another man. But the other man was actually a ghost. And then she's gone on to have 15 spirit lovers and says that it's very intense. I don't even know what I was going to say. Completely forgot.
this relationship carried on for some time, and eventually you got busted by your boyfriend.
I did, yeah. I was. He came home from work a day early, and apparently he says he saw the shape of a man through the spare room window when he pulled up.
Which is unusual because the spirit or ghost had never showed him his physical form to you at all,
Yeah,
and yet
it's interesting.
to your fiance did.
Yeah, which I was slightly annoyed about, to be honest. I think it was in love with me too, and that
So
was
he wanted you to end your relationship.
It's easy cleanup, I guess. I think that's where I was heading. It's easy cleanup, and in the article, there's an article on the New York Post that basically breaks down everything that she's saying right now. And it says that, even though she wants to get married, it's not like the ghost can propose to her because it has no knees to get down on. So you don't hear it, you can't see it. How does all this work?
which it did.
So the relationship with this particular spirit fizzled out over a period of time, and so I'm sort of trying to figure out what it is that goes wrong in a relationship with a ghost, because you can't have the normal arguments like you haven't put the bins out, or your conversation is boring, or I don't like the way you're wearing your hair, and all of those sort of things. So was it just down to the fact that you both got bored with the sex?
I think so. I think it was just one of those things. It just started to happen less and less, and started to appear less.
And after that relationship ended, I mean, there have been many other spirits that have come to visit you.
Yeah.
And some have lasted sort of one time, and some have lasted a little bit longer. Yeah. Are they very different sorts of relationships? Have they got different energies?
Yeah, you can always feel a difference. The same just with a human, I guess. You can just feel different presences,
so
different personalities.
It's not the same one coming back 20 times?
No, it's often different ones. Yeah.
And you say, because since your first sexual encounter with a spirit, you haven't had human contact in that way since. No. So once you go ghost, you never go back?
Pretty much, yeah.
Is that right?
It is, yeah. I've got no interest in men now.
Well, what about children?
I really believe that she got screwed bad by whatever relationships that she was in. I can't talk, and I'm trying to critique this broad for having a fantasy relationship. I mean, really, I have some balls.
Because that surely is not possible.
I don't know. I've done actually a bit of research into phantom pregnancies recently, which I know sounds
Phantom
ridiculous.
pregnancy doesn't mean you have a phantom.
And I have that written down. I'm going to look it up, I promise you, because I cannot put this video up in good conscience without looking up what the hell a phantom pregnancy is. I just hope that I don't get some kind of weird porn on the computer.
It doesn't, but actually, there's case studies where people have done a bit of research, and there's... I'm trying to think how to explain.
Yeah.
But there is sort of possibilities that could actually be maybe the ghost of a child within you, but people don't know how to carry it on to full term kind of thing.
Oh, and you would you like to become pregnant with it?
Yeah, at some point, not now, but...
I mean, that would be quite a unique thing to see, wouldn't it? Like a ghost, the ghost baby. Like, so, be like Casper.
Maybe. Hopefully not, but...
do you, because we spoke to Chris French, who we've had on many times here, and asked what he thought, because he always likes to put the argument against these sorts of things, and he said that what might be happening to you could be explained by sleep paralysis, which is just in those early moments of sleep where you're conscious but your subconscious takes over, and many people describe sexual feelings that happen, that it could be that. Could that be a possibility or not?
I don't think so, because my first ghost used to follow me around the house and kind of lure me in, so I was definitely awake while I was walking around.
So does the sex part of it always happen in the same room?
No.
So they can...
Yeah, once my fiancé had left, it
could be anywhere. Yeah. Is it outside the house?
It's always within the building. Yeah.
So is it the house, do you think? I mean, obviously you as well, they find you attractive, but I should imagine you've got quite a name for yourself in the spirit world. for the future, no need for a boyfriend or husband or anything like that of the humankind. You are happy now. This is for you the way you want your life to be.
Ideally, I'd like to find one that I would like to settle down with and spend the rest of my life with, but I'll never go back to men.
Waiting for Mr. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. Thank you very
Okay, so we heard that she was a medium. We heard that she was a spiritual advisor, guidance counselor, whatever you want to call it. So let's look into what exactly a spiritual counselor is. Granted, they may have different meanings in the UK than they do in America, but I'm assuming it's it's the same deal. Spiritual counselors offer individuals, communities, mental health services. Alright, it's grounded in faith and tradition. Okay, now we'll skip through a bunch of this stuff. And while spiritual counseling can take many forms, it's rooted in the belief that the spirit is connected to the mind, body, and emotion, They work in schools, churches, hospitals, clinics to help people from all walks of life meet their spiritual, emotional, and relationship goals. Many counselors enjoy their work because they find it rewarding to walk with people on their journey to emotional and spiritual wholeness. Spiritual therapists blend truths from great religion traditions into secular therapy, resulting in a robust service to their clients. And this is the part that I find wild the most is that you can get a message on your phone while you're in the middle of trying to do something. And it's a voice one, so I'm gonna have to wait on that. You know what? Fuck it, let's do it. It's real. Is it gonna play? Plus, I can always edit this out.
You open your phone for no reason. I can't believe you did. You're such a dumbass. And you're probably still listening to me.
Well, that's true. I am a bit of a dumbass, but we know that. Anyway, before I was trolled, becoming a spiritual counselor requires at least a master's degree. Master's degree. Holy shit, I can't talk today. For some positions, spiritual counselors need to hold a doctorate. But I would assume that would mean if you were a therapist and like if you were into if you wanted to prescribe things, I don't know. I'm not sure. While most people do not enter spiritual counseling to earn a lucrative salary, it is a fast growing and financially rewarding field. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the annual wage is 47,600, whereas chaplains, I don't know what the hell that is, but they can earn up to 47,429, and Christian counselors can earn an average of 50,803 per year. Okay, and then you can see all the different types. I mean, you got Christians in here, Islamic counseling, Jewish counseling, Buddhist counseling, or pastoral counseling. So it's in all religions, most religions. I shouldn't say all, because I'm sure, I mean, we don't see every one of them on here. I'm sure there's a few that I'm not aware of. But is this bullshit? Is it like those people that touch your head and tell you you're cured? It's kind of like what it seems like. But I mean, if it helps, then hey man, good for you. Now, while we're sitting here, I did look up phantom pregnancy. So let me see if I can load this up here. Oh shit. False pregnancy. I know what are some of the causes? I know the symptoms obviously of regular things. Oh, I see you can't even get a swollen belly. That's crazy. Okay, can you test positive? I'm sure you probably can because hormones. Can stress cause it? Hormone imbalance is often sparked by stress and anxiety, which turns into which in turn causes what the hell am I reading? The emotional and psychological shifts that lead a woman to falsely believes she is expecting. False pregnancy symptoms. Women with a false pregnancy can have. Is that? Did I read that correctly? False pregnancy symptoms. Women with a false pregnancy can have typical pregnancy symptoms, such as all of these things that happen when you are pregnant. So, hmm, maybe this was she was referring to, but then even still, that seems kind of dangerous, no? Just in a sense, like how many times can you trick those hormones? I mean, does it work every time? And again, goes back to the stress factor, which is, was she put in such a bad place that she tricked her brain into believing that there's a relationship? And then now, obviously, you can figure out, you can trick your brain into believing that you're pregnant. So now her argument is, if I understand it correctly, which would be, people have phantom pregnancies all the time, and this is how it happens. So that's her argument for people say that her relationship is bullshit. She turns around and just says, well, everybody, not everybody, a lot of people have had phantom pregnancies, and that's what happens when a spirit gives you the business, apparently. I don't believe it, but it's not up for me to believe. I mean, this is pretty wild, man. It is pretty wild. But then it leads me back to the question, like, look, I've been to mental institutions. I know some people who have some problems. Okay, I keep a well diverse group of friends. And when I say well, I mean we're all not completely mentally sound. Everybody has their issues, but I do know people who suffer from delusions and are diagnosed schizophrenic. I'm not a doctor, but I mean I've seen the paperwork. I've been in some meetings with them and their doctor when they were a little too afraid to go by themselves. So I understand all of that. But then at least those people know, like, okay, it seems real to me, but I know some of this shit is not, like, there's no way. There's no way it can be real. Like, I hear voices. Not me, personally. People I know say they hear voice. You know what? Let's, real quick, while we're here, I mean, why not? Let's look up. Ugh, no, I don't want that. No, get out of here. Oh, let me get this out of the damn way. Okay. Delusion of schizophrenia. Delusion disorder, previously called paranoid disorder, is a type of serious mental illness called a psychosis. Dirt, we knew that. In which a person cannot tell what is real from what is imagined. Although delusions might be a symptom of more common disorders such as schizophrenia, delusional disorder itself is rather rare. Okay, so you normally have one with the other. See, do schizophrenics know they're hallucinating? Some of them, I would imagine, some of them do. Some of them do. Others left untreated or during an active psychotic episode may not understand that they are sick and will have trouble identifying and understanding what is real. When a patient has active schizophrenia symptoms, they truly believe their delusions and hallucinations and will deny that they are sick. Now, I don't doubt that for a second. But if you have a good friend, somebody that you can count on, you can tap him on the shoulder and be like, "Hey man, you see that dog over there? What? No, I don't see it. Okay, so it must not be real." On the flip side to that though, if they're in a manic episode where say a schizophrenic person is in a relationship, right? And then they get into an argument with their significant other and they're heated and they walk out the door. Maybe in that moment of adrenaline, anxiety, and anger, they don't, their rationale gets completely put to the side and something seriously wrong could happen. Delusions and schizophrenia fact sheet. Don't go to WebMD ever. You'll, no matter what it is, it's cancer. I bet you if I clicked on that right now, somehow schizophrenia would turn into cancer. Alright. Delusion and schizophrenia fact sheet. Now this is off mentalillnesspolicy.org. Unbiased information for policymakers and media. I am not a member of the, well, I mean, I guess if you're coming to me for news, you're in trouble, but I could see how I could be a member of the media in a small kind of a way. Delusions and hallucinations are probably the best known symptoms of schizophrenia. They are dramatic and therefore behaviors are usually focused on when schizophrenia is being represented in popular literature and movies. Reacting to delusions in a major cause of violence by people with schizophrenia who are untreated, i.e., if you believe someone is trying to kill you, you may try to kill them first. Or, or if you think that there are bugs crawling on you and then you try to cut the bugs off of you, that's fucking scary. Now, if we're gonna go down this road, which I mean, it already seems like we're there, but if that is in fact what is happening to this lady, I feel bad for her. I find it funny and not funny at the same time because if she really, part of me believes that it's all just for fun and for show. That she's just doing this to get a television appearance, maybe to put spiritual advisory on the map. How much of an evil genius would she be if all those? I mean, you saw how many. Look at how many people watch this damn video. Look at how many people watch this video. That is a rather large number. Large number. Now imagine if all these people had never heard of a spiritual advisor before. I know before this story, I didn't know what the hell that was. I've never heard of it. So could this be a way to pull people into what you believe? And is that a call to people who are ill? That are like, oh no, don't go to a doctor. Why would you do something silly like that? You can just come to me and you could pay me. I read through a lot of these articles that talk about how a lot of people don't go to psychologists because they can't afford to pay them. But you're still paying the spiritual advisor, dude. So what are we doing here? I don't understand. You're still paying. Are you paying less? Are you paying less? I don't know. Certainly, delusions and hallucinations are very important and common symptom of this disease. However, it should be remembered that they are not essential to it. Indeed, no single symptom is essential for the diagnosis of schizophrenia. There are many people with schizophrenia who have a combination of other symptoms, such as a thought disorder, disturbance of affect, and disturbance of behavior. Now, what is a thought disorder? Is that racing thoughts? Because I for sure I have that. no question. Uh, Disturbance of behavior who have never had delusions or hallucinations. It should also be remembered that delusions and hallucinations are found in brain diseases other than schizophrenia, so their presence does not automatically mean schizophrenia is present. I know people with tumors and cancer and shit like that can see things that are not there, whatever effect that has on the brain. But we're not talking about those people. We're talking about people that do exist having quote unquote relationships with things that don't exist. I mean, I just read a story when I did the last version of this video I attempted to do about a lady who married an 18,000-year-old Haitian pirate that she thinks that it's what's his face from the Caribbean movie. Jack Sparrow. She thinks it's the real Captain Jack Sparrow was a Haitian dude, and they put a pirate flag in that person's place, and she had a legit marriage. I mean, I don't know. Is this PC culture? Is that what this bleeds into? Delusions are simply false ideas believed by the patient, but not by other people in his or her culture, which cannot be corrected by reason. They're usually based on some kind of sensory experience that the person misinterprets. This may be as simple as a brief static on the radio or a flicker on the television screen that the person interprets as a signal. Family members often wonder where the delusion ideas in the affected person came from. And I'm going to read a little bit more and then I promise I'll get the hell off of this thing. One simple form of delusion is the conviction that random events going on around the person all relate in a direct way to him or her. If you're walking down the street and a man on the opposite sidewalk coughs, you don't think anything of it and may not even consciously hear the cough. Person with schizophrenia, however, not only hears the cough, but may immediately decide that it must be a signal of some kind, perhaps directed to someone else down the street to warn him that that person is coming. Schizophrenia sufferer knows this is true with certainty. For those of you following along at home, I'm right here. That few people experience. Wait, I think I might have lied to you. I'm not sure. If you're walking with such a person and try to reason with him or her past these delusions, your efforts will probably be futile. You lose. You get nothing. Good day, sir. Even if you come across the street and in the presence of the same person in question demand about his cop, the individual will probably decide that you are a part of the plot. Reasoning with the people about their delusion is like trying to bail out the ocean with a bucket. Okay, now I can attest to this. Like I said, I know people who have mental illnesses, and when this person went into one of their episodes, they thought that there was if I was talking to one of my friends on the phone, she would think that we were plotting some kind of a plan against her to bring her into the mental hospital. She would literally not go places unless she had to because she thought everywhere that we went I was trying to trick her into going to the hospital. Now, I mean, I don't, maybe she still feels that way, maybe she doesn't. But I mean, she was put on several different medications where she was put on Geodon, Risperdal, Clozapam, Trazodone, all in one shot. That was all 1 day's worth of medication. She would walk around like a fucking zombie. It was very sad. Because half of the time, I mean, she looked like a dope fiend. If we're going to be completely honest with one another, she looked like a heroin addict. Because her eyes would always be halfway closed. She would be, talking like this when she's trying to talk. She basically sounded like a mumble rapper because she didn't even have the capability of moving her mouth properly. But the scariest part about the whole thing was that when she would get out of that, and the medication would finally wear off, she would say it was like I was stuck in a dream. You know, when you go to sleep and you're laying there, when you're not fully asleep yet, you can still kind of hear what's going on around you. She said that that was what it felt like. Because when people would talk to her, she would hear them, she would think something in her mind, and she would go to say it. Like if somebody were to say, "Hey, are you alright?" She would say in her mind, "I'm okay," and think that was "I'm okay" out loud in a normal voice. And then when she realized that she couldn't communicate, it would be really frustrating for her. I mean, it was very very hard to watch. In many cases, the delusions become more complex and integrated rather than being simply watched. The person becomes convinced that he or she is being controlled by other persons, manipulated, or even hypnotized. Such persons are constantly on the alert for confirmatory evidence to support their beliefs. And yes, I just had to sound that out in my head before I read it. What do you want from me? I graduated high school. There's nothing more I can do. They're looking for evidence to support their beliefs. Needless to say, they always find it among the myriad visual and authority stimuli perceived by all of us each day. A good example of this kind was an elderly Irish lady who was a patient on my ward. She believed that she had been wired by some mysterious foreign agents in her sleep and thought that the wires, oh no, I'm sorry, and that through the wires, her thoughts and actions are being controlled. In particular, at the she pointed to the ceiling as the place from which the control took place. One morning, I was dismayed to come into the ward and discover that workmen installing a new fire alarm system. Wires were hanging down in all colors and directions. The lady looked at me, pointed to the ceiling, and just smiled. Her delusions have been confirmed forever. Now, see, again, back to Amethia's realm right here. Now, could it be domestic violence? Could it have been rape as a young adult, possibly a child? Was that delusion always there and then she carried it into a relationship? Now, when this guy, her fiance, would leave, would she be stimulating herself and then blame it on other things and him trying to reason with her being like, no dude, that's not what's happening. They get into an argument. Eventually he says, I can't take it anymore. I'm leaving. I can't do this with you. I don't know. It's possible. It is very possible. So I mean, the question still, I'd leave with more questions than answers. Is she medicated? Has she ever been to a doctor? Did she grow up around a religious household where maybe the idea of a spiritual counselor was that was it? That's all that there was, because there was no going outside of the home and risk being intercepted by somebody who is not part of a religion. But then you can make the argument, if they were religious, then what about the pagan thing? So I leave with more questions than answers. But like I said, I know plenty of people who have been locked up for much less. A good friend of mine, I mean, even though he can be a real douchebag sometimes, he actually just wound up going to a mental institution and got into an argument with somebody in his household, and then she said, here, you need to call this number because you're a little out of control, and maybe talking to these people will help you. He calls this number, and then half an hour later, some dude and two police officers show up to his house, and then they escort him to the hospital for a mental evaluation because they said that they need to make sure that he wasn't a threat to himself or other people. So I can easily make an argument that if you're in a relationship that does not exist, and you believe, if you truly believe that you're in this relationship and this person exists despite the fact that you cannot hear them, see them, touch them, smell them, whatever, then wouldn't that classify you then as a danger to other people? Because clearly, when you're done with one relationship in the spirit realm, you can then just move on and go on to the next one. I mean, it did say that she had 15, 20 partners. She's blowing through these cats, man. I don't know what is happening. Phantom pregnancies, the whole deal. Now, it's very well that she could have researched all this shit. We already know this. I've said it a bunch of times already. But I'm more concerned about the mental state, as far as that this could very well um influence other people. Now, I don't know if that would necessarily be the case, because maybe if you're mentally ill, what are the chances of you seeing that if you've been helped in some way, shape, or form, to where you realize what is happening now? And I know that it's not easy to, no matter what it is, it's not easy to go and get treatment and possibly fix these problems. Maybe you'll never be fixed. And I forgot what I was going to look up here, because it had something to do. Oh yeah, that's what it was. Now, for those of you that are just listening, I'm going to Google how many people claim to have a relationship with ghosts, because I want to see if there is a number. Like, what would be the number of people? Yeah, okay. There's our lady that we were just watching the interviews for. Woman claims to be starting a relationship with ghosts. Yeah, I'm aware of that. Why some people see ghosts and other presence. Psychology today. Mm, not yet. Okay, so what the hell is that? Sexual attraction to ghosts. I don't even know how you would. Fuck it. We gotta click it now. We had to click it. Can somebody say it for me? Spectrophilia? What is that? Talk. Yeah, I don't know. I was hoping somebody could read it just so that I can make sure that I'm saying it correctly. And that was the other thing too. She claimed to be in a relationship with a poltergeist, right? But I thought poltergeists were just things that threw shit around your house. I didn't. I thought it would be more like this says, like an incubus, succubus, whatever. Not a poltergeist. It's a fetish. I don't have $3. I literally have $1 in my bank account right now. I'm not even bullshit. So, start a Patreon or some shit, dude. Spectrophilia is a fetish that is classified as paraphilia, which in which one is attracted to ghosts or spirits. Spectrophiliacs fantasize about ghosts and often imagine scenarios involving sexual events between themselves and other others and spirits. So like threesomes? I don't know. I'm gonna write this down because I'll throw this in the description. Oh shit. Hold on. SPECT ROPHI LIA. Fetish. Okay. What is it? Succubus, incubus, right? Western folklore, succubus is a demon or evil spirit who takes on female human form to seduce men. Yeah. Blah blah blah. Alright, so it's the same thing except it's in the form of a man to seduce women. Okay. Many cultures. Alright, so many cultures have that. We get that. Ghost and ghost lore. This is odd. I will say this is odd. I'm kind of happy I did this over because I had never, I'd never seen that before. How to get over being ghosted. Stupid. Alright, now let's click on this and then we'll probably wrap this thing up. Now let's see, what is this all about? Why some people see ghosts and other presence, there are potential explanations, even if some won't believe them. Now that leads me to, if you're watching this, do you believe in ghosts? Have you seen one? Do you think it's all garbage? And it's done for attention by people who claim to have seen things that do not exist. If you have, hit the comment section. I'd love to hear about your stories. And I'm not going to rip on you. I know plenty of people who believe in ghosts. I mean, I've seen shit before that I can't explain. Yeah, Sandra Bullock, Gravity, jeez. Okay, she begins to lose consciousness. She is visited, or is she, by her fellow astronaut? Okay. It usually happens to individual become isolated in an extreme or unusual environment with often high levels of stress are involved. These individuals report perception or feeling that another person is there to help them cope with the hazardous situation. Vividness of the presence can range from a vague feeling of being watched to clearly perceived seemingly flesh and blood entity. Okay. This entity might be a god, spirit, ancestor, someone personally known to the observers. Sense presence usually appear in environments with variation little in physical and social stimulation. Low temperature is also a common indication. Okay, so what are we getting at here? Possible explanation for sense present include motion of boats, atmospheric or geomagnetic activity, altered sense of state consciousness induced by changes in the brain chemistry triggered by stress, lack of oxygen, buildup of hormones, new evidence, Aloof Blake. Is that the group? OLAFBLANKE, demonstrating that it is the precise stimulation of specific brain regions that trick people into feeling a presence of a ghostly apparition. Agency detection mechanisms. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, so you're talking about when your eyes make you see something that isn't there. It's why some people paint faces onto their book bags and shit so they don't lose them. Is that what you're talking about here? If you're walking down a dark city street and hear the sound of something moving in the alley, you will respond with a heightened level of arousal and sharply focus attention and behave as if there is a willful agent present who is about to do you harm. If it turns out to just be a gust of wind or a stray cat, you may lose it a little by overreacting, but if you fail, oh shit. So I guess if you're not active towards the alarm response, true threat is present, the cost of your miscalculation could be high. Okay. Recent study by Kristen Barnes, Nicholas Gibson, 2013, explored the difference between individuals who have never had a paranormal experience and those who have. They confirm that experiences of the supernatural phenomenon are most likely to occur in threatening or ambiguous environments. They also found that those who had paranormal experience scored higher on scales of measuring empathy and tendency to become deeply absorbed in one's own subjective experience. Most likely, the experience of sensed presence is the result of many of these factors interacting at once. Okay. So, I mean, it does kind of go back to my original theory a little bit. Rites of passage. There are only three possibilities. The event really happened just as the person reported. The person truly believes that the event happened, but it has not. Person is fabricating a story for some reason. Best we can do under circumstances is to evaluate the relative probability of each of these three options and choose the one that appears most likely. Wow, thank you for that. Could not have figured that shit out on my own. So what do you guys think? The first video I did was probably a lot better than this one, only because I mean I've done this several times now, and it's kind of hard to hit every single point. I'm gonna kick myself when I hang this up, and I realize I didn't go over everything that I wanted to, but I do have a paper with some notes here, and let me just take a real quick look and see if there's anything that I may have missed. Now, a lot of these are timestamps for edits. but I don't think that I missed anything. So, yeah, the question then is left off to you. Really. I'm gonna leave that up for my own personal reason, so I can continue reading it later on. Now, I mean, I have some other videos here. You can check out any number of these if you would like. If not, then I will leave you even with this question, which is, do you believe in ghosts? Do you think it's all bullshit? Do you buy into this spectrophilia, if that's what it's called? Am I saying it wrong? Do you know somebody that has this type of a fetish? Do you think that this lady is crazy? Do you think that it's from abuse? Could it be side effects from medication? Could it be what could the possibilities for this happening actually be? That is the question that I have, and I want to hear from you. What do you think? Is it wrong to question this woman's state of mind? Do you believe that she's a danger to herself or other people? If you are a spiritual advisor, if you are one of these people who have this fetish, if you know someone who has this type of a fetish, or someone who is affected by a phantom pregnancy, send them my way, please. I would love to hear from them. I would love to. I will give them an open forum where they can be completely honest. I'm not going to tear them apart. I would even be willing to give them questions before anything even goes on the record, so they can overlook it first. They know what's coming at them. It's not like they'll be jumped. But I can't find this woman anywhere. So I don't know if she's locked up, if she just dropped off the face of the planet. Obviously we don't know where her boyfriend's at, because he does or does not exist depending on whatever your belief system is. Are you a spiritual advisor? Do you seek spiritual advisement? If that's even a word. I don't know. Does any of this stuff apply to you in some type of way, or you know somebody who it does apply to? Because I am fascinated by the idea of this. I mean, all jokes aside, no bullshit. If you have some sort of a mental issue, it doesn't hurt to go and try to get help. I understand that being committed can be a scary thing, so be careful with that. But you should talk to somebody, a friend, a family member that you know you can trust, whoever. But I mean, outside of that, I'm sure this video is really not that compelling. And I saw that there was over 100 views on the first one that I did, which is kind of sad that the video was all kinds of wrecked and there was nothing there for anybody to even listen to. Hopefully this one does just as well. My apologies to the people who have went to the other video and there was nothing there. I'm going to review this in post, see how it turned out, edit out whatever I need to edit. Um, so yeah, leave your comments for me. I do read every comment that is put on the video. I will put the links in the description. I shouldn't have, now that I say that, I realize I shouldn't have closed out those other tabs, but I'll put the links in the description for you guys to check out. If you have a topic suggestion, song suggestion, whatever it might be, let me know. You know where you can reach me via Twitter, here, Instagram if you like art, stuff like that. Plenty other different videos you can check out or don't. Subscribe or not. Like it, don't like it. I don't, doesn't really make a difference to me. I don't care. I'm talking about this because nobody else is really talking about it. Granted, the story is a year old, but it is what it is. I just started this damn thing, man. I'm on my way up. I'll catch up soon. Hopefully. Anyway, with all that shit being said, man, you know what it is. Hopefully you enjoy this video. If not, tell me what you don't like about it. Other than all this right here, because there's nothing I can do about this. It is what it is, man. Is there something I can improve? But definitely, any of those people, send them my way, man. I will be putting this video up momentarily. And in the meantime, send these people my way. Suggestions, all that shit. I already said that. I'm going in circles now. I'm just gonna shut the hell up.